Yes. Obviously you could survive if you were transported into the world of Super Mario Sunshine. This world is so much more livable than Super Mario 64, a game we previously looked at. Normally in this series, we take a game and rate 8 different aspects of the world from 0 to 5 based on how well you could survive in it. Water, food, and shelter are your necessities, while safety, accessibility, traversability, entertainment, and atmosphere are all nice to haves. I'll just tell you, right off the bat, I'd give this a 39 out of 40. I'm only deducting 1 point for all the enemies walking about. That's what one of these episodes is normally like. This one is different though. We're going to be looking at all the different stages and ranking them based on how livable they are. We're assuming that you're just dropped into a stage with no way to get out. Which stages would be a breeze, and which would be impossible. Welcome to Survive or Thrive. There's 10 stages to get through. We're going to start with the most difficult and work our way to the nicest. I feel that's in the spirit with the series. We want to find the absolute most chillest place to live. I can tell you what's not chill: Corona Mountain. No surprise that's coming in last place. You would be positively, perchancebly, boned if you were thrown into Corona Mountain and expected to survive. When entering the stage, you're dropped on a platform. You're already stuck if you don't have Flood. I'm assuming you don't, because you aren't Mario. That's not to say there's no hope though. There are fish swimming around in the lava. If you could somehow catch some, then you'd have food. And partway through the stage are some sprinklers that spray water. There's that taken care of too. But you're not reaching that part of the stage. I said there's not necessarily no hope, but does a 0.0001% chance count for anything? You basically round down at that point. Oh, of course, how could I forget? You're inside a volcano! You'd probably be cooked from the inside out being in here. You wouldn't even have a chance to die of dehydration. I shouldn't spend any more time on this stage. Knowing me, I'd slip and fall into the lava within a moment of being put in here. You'd probably do the same. Corona Mountain is really the only stage I could see you not surviving in long term. Past this point, you'd be able to eventually die of old age. It's just about how comfortable your life would be up until that point. Number 9 is Noki Bay. You could survive here, but I don't think it'd really be enjoyable. The majority of Noki society is underwater. While they can go on the surface and survive just fine up there, it seems they primarily live down here. You'll find the majority of the NPCs on this stage in this little underwater city. The infrastructure above the surface is practically non-existent. There are no homes for you to live in, no enclosed buildings at all. There's the mudboat rental hut, but it's not much. There are also all these floating platforms that are seemingly houses, but they're underwater. Can't live in those. Food isn't the best either. There's no shortage of fish, but that's it. You could maybe get fruit brought in from other parts of the island by boat? I don't know. According to the map, you're way on the other side of the island. I don't even know if they ship stuff out here. So much of the play space in this stage is vertical. You need to wall jump to reach the ledge up there and access everything beyond it. But you aren't doing that. There's barely any land down here at sea level. No trees to cut down to build a shelter with. I don't have much else to say. You can just see that this wouldn't be a very fun stage to live in if you were a human with normal human skills, no water hovering device. Number 8 is Pinna Park. Fun fact, I completely finished the script and voiceover for this video, and when I went to record footage, I realized I genuinely forgot about this stage. Guess that shows how much I'd want to live here. It might seem nice at first glance. Unlike Noki Bay, this is a place built for normal, oxygen-breathing beings such as yourself. You could exist in this place and make use of the same facilities as everyone else. But would you want to? I think I would genuinely go insane if I had to live here for the rest of my life. Even being here for 2 minutes, just listening to the music that's playing, I want to leave immediately. Your brain would melt if you had to hear this every day for 50 plus years. Plus, there's no buildings for you to call home. Unless you could enter the swinging pirate ships when they're stationary, that's something, I guess. Though you'd have to hope that they wouldn't start up while you're inside. I don't even want to consider the food situation here, I just want to leave. You'd probably have an easier time surviving here than in the next couple stages, but this isn't really a question about whether or not I could, it's about whether or not I would. Number 7. The Delfino Airstrip. Here we go, some peace and quiet. You're super close to the mainland over there. Food would not be a problem. And it's relatively safe too, excluding all the strolling stews. But even a normal human could kill these guys, I bet. I could do it. If I could do it, you could too. Only problem is, it would get really boring around here. Look, here's the whole stage. That's it. And you're practically by yourself. The only other living sentient being is the boat captain. Which, I guess he could be a nice person, but I don't really want him to be the last person I ever meet in my whole life. No offense. Though this is the airstrip, would other people fly in here for their vacation? I guess so. You'd probably meet a ton of interesting people here. So could you survive into old age on the Delfino airstrip? Sure. But it'd be boring as hell. The only excitement you'd have is meeting the people that fly in to visit the island, and at that point it's just like your job. You'd be living at your office for the rest of your life. Some people might dig that, not me. Number 6. Pianta Village. That might seem like a weird inclusion so high on the list. It's a village, why wouldn't you want to live there? There's a couple of things about this settlement that you might not have ever thought about. First of all, there's no homes. This is called a village, yet there are no homes for the villagers to live in. Hell, no buildings, period. There is not a single structure you could enter to shelter yourself from the rain. Not a single bed in sight. And the second big negative, this village is completely isolated. Not like Noki Bay, where it's kinda out of the way, but you could still get there by boat if you really wanted to. You are up on the northern side of Isle Delfino, like before, but we're also perched above a bottomless pit. It's almost like this is a prison. There's all these people trapped in this little enclosed area with no way to escape. Maybe it is a prison. Maybe all these Piantas are criminals, and this is where the island as a whole sends them. Mario could have been sent here if he wasn't assigned to clean up the place. This could have legitimately been his home for the rest of his life. I'm assuming there's some kind of infrastructure in place to get these people food and other things they need. There's one tree that grows one of every fruit in the game, but that can't sustain a whole village. I don't know. These people survive somehow. I'm sure they'd share their secrets with you. You could no doubt survive alongside them. I just hate to be in prison with all these guys. Who knows what kind of crimes they committed? Number 5 is Bianco Hills. Finally, we have shelter. There are multiple buildings in this section of the stage. It's nice to finally have an enclosed structure. I don't really know what the purpose of these buildings are, or even if there's a bed in any of them, but I'm sure you could put something together. Surely these people wouldn't mind, considering your situation. Plus, the vibes are nice. Depending on which episode you call home, it could be a relatively peaceful life. Episode 8 is always nice in these stages, and it's no exception here. No PD piranha to terrorize you. Unfortunately, there is one problem. There are no trees that bear fruits in the stage. In episode 8, there are some fruits on the ground for you to give to Yoshi, but they aren't growing from anything. They're just sitting there. Though they do respawn when you throw them in the water. Would that work? Would the fruit respawn if you eat them? I don't like it. I don't think they would respawn. At least in how I interpret the world. Maybe you have a different perception. I'm willing to assume a lot when it comes to these videos, but that feels like too much. Maybe in a different mood I'd be on the other side though. Who can say? There are these pokey guys around the stage, but I'm not sure they'd be that filling. Though I guess they are cacti. Cactologists, let me know if it'd be worth it to try and eat these guys. On top of all that, this stage is completely isolated, like Pianta Village. There are no connections to the outside world. Well, there's this blocked off path near one of the rivers, but this looks like a semi-permanent structure, not like a gate that opens up to let people through, so nothing's coming in that way. And I guess there's the river at the top of the stage, but I don't think you're getting any food deliveries that way either. I really do love the feel of this stage. I imagine it would be a super chill place to call home, but unfortunately the practicality just isn't there. Number 4, Gelato Beach. The vibes of this stage are nice, but unfortunately it carries some of the same problems as the previous two, most notably being there's no enclosed buildings for you to call home. There are a couple of cabanas that you could use as a shelter, thankfully. These wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, and you could even use fronds from the trees to set up makeshift walls. That stops some sun from getting in, which you'd no doubt want to break from on this stage. The food situation is looking pretty good. There's the surf cabana, which no doubt has food and drinks available at all times. Plus the watermelon festival, can't forget that. You also have the cataquacks walking about. I guess you could kill them? They are ducks. Kinda? I don't know, I wouldn't trust it. These guys probably have a secret poison sac or something to deter predators. Who knows what kind of secrets their anatomy holds? And even if they weren't hiding anything, we know that they throw you up in the air real good. You'd be almost, if not completely, dead after just one of these. Keep your distance from them as much as you can. I was debating if I should rank Gelato Beach above or below Bianco Hills, because I really would appreciate having a building to enter and shelter myself from the elements. But I can't overlook the food situation in that stage. You need to eat. Gelato Beach is nice and all. Would I want to live here for the rest of my life? Not really. A short afternoon here would be nice though. The top 3. This is where we get into stages that I could genuinely see myself not just surviving in, but thriving in. Name drop. Rico Harbor would be pretty nice. It has buildings you could live in, fruits you could eat, probably all kinds of food that could be imported considering this is a port. And it's relatively safe. Keep an eye out for Gooper Blooper. Something I never really thought about until now is the culture for this stage. I don't know, this seems like it'd be a chill town to be a part of. Some guys are dancing towards the start of episode 8. Look at them go. There's a couple of piantas swimming around in some pool floats. That's cute. The Dude Sisters are performing. They even have a little crowd gathered to watch them. Okay, well that's out of pocket. And of course, there's the fish market. You don't even have to go fishing yourself, you could just buy some stuff here. There is one small problem though. There's no easy way to reach the town up there. Mario can kinda get up there, but you aren't as nimble as him. The Piantas aren't either. I'm not sure what they do. The closest you can get is riding this platform out of the water up to the ledge. But even then, you still have to use some acrobatic skills to reach some solid land. Outside of that, I really like this level as a home. It feels like the place to be. I've spent a lot of time in this video talking about what you'd need to simply survive in a stage, but you could really enjoy life here. Find yourself a job and truly integrate with the community. Even though the stage is number 3 in the list, I do think it offers something special that the 2 upcoming stages don't. Talking to this guy at the start of episode 8, he says, Rico's the kind of place songs are written about. And I think that sums up my opinions of this stage beautifully. It's magical. Number 2 is Serena Beach. This is kinda my selfish pick. I realize that Rico Harbor might be the objectively better stage to live in permanently, but the vibes to Serena Beach are just so immaculate. I couldn't help but rank it higher. First of all, nearly the whole stage is a building, so there's your shelter. And it's not just any old shelter, we're in a nice hotel. Considering this is a lone hotel on a beach with nothing else, they presumably have plans in place for guests to stay for prolonged periods of time. Food is definitely taken care of here. The rooms are nice. They're appropriately tropical. Every day would feel like a vacation in here. And it's got a ton of amenities. Hot tub to relax in. This pool room to do whatever you do in here. And the casino. Can't forget about the casino. You'd definitely get addicted to gambling if you lived in this stage for the rest of your life. This would practically be the only excitement you'd get. Maybe you could become a millionaire if you kept at it long enough. That's the casino mindset. Of course, I can't talk about this stage without talking about the beach. This is why it's number 2 to me. This view is beautiful. The sunset creates such a unique look for this stage, and that's what draws me to it. Though I guess other stages would probably have sunsets if this was a real world. Whatever, they probably wouldn't be as cozy as this. I can imagine myself lounging on one of these chairs, enjoying my new life in this polygonal world. Number 1. Do you know what stage is left? Have you been able to keep track in your mind? I'm sure it's no surprise that my number 1 stage to live in for the rest of my life would be Delfino Plaza. While Serena Beach is the most chill stage in the whole game, it would get kinda annoying to live there for decades of your life. That's all it is, a hotel and a beach. There'd be people coming and going from it, but it's not much of a town per se. Delfino Plaza does feel like a town. I think that's something you'd need. While you could survive in the other stages, and maybe even live an enjoyable life in some of them, life in Delfino Plaza would be the most varied. This is the closest analog this game has to an actual town or city as we know it. You got the market over here where you buy food. You got the jail where evildoers are held. And then there's, all these buildings. They're all nondescript, so we don't really know what they hold inside, but I'm sure you could find some apartment building in this place. And there's probably businesses that you wouldn't be able to find on a stage like Rico Harbor or Bianco Hills, considering this is the main hub for the island. If you picked this as your home, you'd have more things to do than in any other stage. And that's really what you'd want. You'd want to have the most things available to you to do for however many years you have left in your natural life. You could find purpose. Because think about it, you could most likely live in Serena Beach until you die of old age. But would you really want to? Is your 70-year-old self going to have the same hobbies as your 30-year-old self? Though the elderly do love to gamble. This is the safe pick. In another mood, I might have picked Serena Beach as my number 1 stage. But if there's any decision to pick the safe choice with, it'd be the one that has ramifications for the rest of your life. Maybe you're different though. Let me know if you'd pick any of the other stages instead. Maybe you're more adventurous than me and would actually pick something like Pianta Village. I'm just a boring guy, sorry. That's it for this one. I kinda liked this format. I haven't worked out a specific formula for when I'll do one of these rather than a traditional episode on a game, but I'll do it on a case-by-case basis. It just depends. Thanks for watching, and see you Pretizens next time.